Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? Soy David Marto. Seguimos en el set de Kinótico en el Festival de San Sebastián, en colaboración con Fred Film Radio, la radio internacional especializada en festivales. Y tenemos la suerte de que esta mañana nos acompañe Vincent Maraval, que es, a mí me llevan diciendo meses que es la persona más importante que pasa por este festival en cuanto a industria. Así que así lo voy a presentar, aunque también lo puedo presentar como socio fundador de Goodfellas. Vamos a cambiar a inglés para charlar con Vincent. Thank you very much for being with us today.
No problem, a pleasure.
They say you are the most important person in the industry side of this festival, and I have to talk to you.
Who are they?
Well, there's a they. I could put names in there, but
No, it's a festival I really like, and for a long time now, I have the chance to live not far, so I love coming here even outside of the festival, and I think the job that has been done in the last 10 years here is tremendous. It's great. The audience is great. It's not like, in many festivals there is an audience of privileged people or people from the industry, and here it's good to have the possibility to meet the real audience.
Yeah.
And I think they are young, they are very open-minded, which is very important for us when we show a film.
Mm. What do you think about San Sebastián and its place in the festival's calendar? What's the place of San Sebastián throughout the year?
Oh, I think there is still, it's changing all the time, but Cannes is still probably the top festival. Venice is still very important. Berlin in the recent years has been falling down a bit. So I think San Sebastián is, I would say it's among the top 5 world festival today. So it's a festival where I think talent love to come. I think the industry is more and more coming. I'm just coming from the conference, the financing conference. Yeah. It was amazing the number of really key players in our industry who were there and playing the game. So I think there is it's definitely a prizing festival. I would say it's in the top 5 today, and it probably can become in the top 3 very soon.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're behind the international noise that some newcomers then made with their films, like Fahrenheit 9/11, or The Orphanage with Bayona, or Pan's Labyrinth. I mean, they were not so well known around the world, and you a little bit made your magic there. And then you work with veterans too, with Ken Loach, or how do you choose the films you're going to work in?
So there are 2 aspects. Of course, there is the love for cinema at the beginning and the love for people like Ken Loach, where I didn't invent them. I just came at a later period of their career. But for me, it's always a pleasure, an honor to be able to help at my level, to help to try to bring them to a wider audience. And there is what is the most interesting part of our job, which is really to build a director, to take him when he's starting, to little by little, finding him some partners in every country to allow him to do the film more ambitious or with less, with more freedom. So it's a combination of both. I love when you admire the director. For example, I worked with Jean-Luc Godard, who was probably my
your hero.
My hero when I was young, and to be able to work with him and try to bring something more to this visibility. It's very interesting, but the most rewarding is to take young director like Bayona and then trying to bring them to the world.
Yeah.
Speaking of, for example, Claire Denis.
Oh, Claire Denis is here, the president of the jury.
Yes.
You can join if you want.
Je vais te répondre, mais j'ai eu 4 jours de boulot.
Están hablando de que no se han respondido los mensajes. Aprovechemos para ver un tráiler de 20 segundos del superviviente de Auschwitz, que es una película maravillosa de este fin de semana.
Me interesa su historia. Soy el superviviente de Auschwitz, pero nadie sabe cómo lo consiguió. La chica que dejé en mi país no sabe que estoy vivo.
Quiero convertirte en una atracción.
¡Traidor! Necesito ganar.
No puedes, pero puedes sobrevivir.
¿Merece la pena luchar por ella?
Conversación entre Claire Denis y Vincent Maraval.
Là, tu vas voir des films?
Yo no sé si podemos... Claire Denis is going to... How are you, Claire?
We were talking about our work with
I'm
directors.
fine.
Okay, thank you for
We've done
joining.
6 films with her.
But don't give the back to the camera because that's too bad. Thank you so much. Thank you, Claire. It's been a pleasure.
On
Your
aura
back
un
is
bon
very
moment.
black today. Thank
À
you.
plus tard, Claire.
Hasta pronto, Claire. Bueno, momentos de los festivales.
You have a moment.
I had a very good moment. We're going to be viral. And I wanted to talk to you about the internet because I wanted to ask you about how your business has changed with the platforms first and the pandemic second.
Yeah, our environment is changing all the time. I mean, as you say, platform, pandemic, now the strike, which is even if the writer strike stopped, we still have the actor strike, which is causing a lot of problem. So we need to adapt ourselves all the time. And somewhere that gives interest also to our job. I think and there are ways to take things. I think platform open opportunities for me. It's like if platform had killed free television, pay television, cinema, it would be a problem. But there is no private TV that closed because of the platform, or a pay TV that closed because of the platform. So it's just more possibilities. So for me, the platform changed a bit my job in offering me different place where I can show my film. And the pandemic, it of course was tough, but we didn't stop. We
didn't stop.
We developed. For example, we took more time to develop scripts. We took more time to watch films, to find new talents. So I think it's always the same. When you have changes, you have to take which side you want to take them. And usually changes are opportunities.
I know you're in touch with many actors and actresses. You know many actors and actresses, and you know what's going on with the strike right now. I mean, the writers, they reached a pre-agreement with AMPTP.
Yeah.
And the actors, maybe they're on their way. What happened there? Because maybe from Europe we are not really able to read the scene in the States.
No, I think there are several questions. It's a question of survival for them, because today with the artificial intelligence, they can be replaced. So they need, of course, to fight. For example, we had a film in Cannes called Vincent Must Die that we sold to a US distributor who's going to release it in English with the voice of the French actor and with the lip sync that correspond to the English language. So it means the dubbing industry is dead. The dubbing industry is employing a lot of actors. So there is a question of survival. Of course, in the future you can use their image, their voice, and when you do an animation film and you want the voice of Robert De Niro, today you don't need him, for example, to dub a character. So it's a question of survival, but it's also another question that I think we should have treated ourselves before them, which is what become of an industry where suddenly you have 40,000 films available for $5. And then the other one say, I have 60,000 films available for $3. There is a total loss of the value of things, which is somewhere a copy to the music industry. The difference is the music industry is to produce a song is not that expensive. You are not, if you want, you can do it with 3 people. A film, it has a minimum cost, and you hire 80, 100 people. If suddenly those films doesn't have a single value and identified value, and they are just in an ocean of program, you are taking the value of the people who work, of those 80 people, 100 people, you are considering that value is almost zero. And today for the actors, not to have a remuneration based on the success of their film, but just on a volume of film, is a problem of the consideration of their work and the value of their work. So I'm totally supportive of, even if it caused me a lot of problem, I think it's not only I would say a fight for the actors, it's a fight for what will be the society tomorrow. Half of the job will be useless. My wife is a translator. She's probably out of job in 2 years.
Yeah.
So today we did the same with internet. When something arrives, you have to take the best and you have to put regulation because it can kill you. And today that's what is at stake. It's much more important than just getting a better fee for an actor. It's really the question of what is our work value for tomorrow.
Do you think they're going to reach a solution soon?
They will because first it's a catastrophe on a social level. Of course, when we think about the actor strike, we think about the 100 stars we know, but there are 156,000 members of SAG, and a lot of actors are very badly paid, and they need because it's the way it works in the US and especially in LA, they need the envelope every week to pay their rent, and today they are out of their house, out of their apartment. There is a social crisis that it generated, which is you cannot stand. I mean, it cannot last more than 2 or 3 months, or so they have to reach. And same thing for the platform or the studio. They have to program films. They have to show films. For example, in the US, 85% of the market share are the studio films in the theater. Theater are just coming out of COVID. A lot of theaters closed in the US. If suddenly you take them out 85% of the market, there will be more cinema closing and more, and you know that it's going. You don't recover that. So it's really a moment of our industry where what is at stake is very important, and what both sides can lose is very important.
Yeah. Do you know some people say we produce too many films? We should produce less. What do you think?
I heard that for a long time, and I was always saying I don't think we produce too many films. We produce too many films for the same. For example, in cinema in France, we produce too many films, but there are some other places where we can see films. Today, it's true that probably we produce too many films, even globally. There are too many projects, TV series, films, and it's difficult to swallow and to digest the amount. But it's very difficult for me to tell you we produce too many films, because everything produced is a good news. So
I know.
Why do we want less? But it's true that there is today a kind of a traffic jam in the pipeline of the streamers, cinema, TV.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the Oscars race in France? There's been somehow noise there between Anatomy of a Fall and Le Pot-au-Feu.
Yeah, I haven't seen Pot-au-Feu. I've seen only Anatomy of a Fall.
It's good.
Yeah, so it's difficult for me to judge. Then that problem and that way of deciding has always been a problem in France. For example, Ma Vie en Rose was never nominated, while it was an obvious
And Marion
contender.
got a nomination.
Yes, when we did March of the Penguin, that did $80 million in the US, it was not nominated. And they were telling me, yeah, but it will be best documentary. Yes, it will be best documentary with Morgan Freeman. Nobody will know it's French. Yeah. So if you really want to show what you do in the French cinema, that would have been good to push it. We always had that. In France, the political aspect is too much interfering with the culture. So the problem, we know that it might be a political problem. I think the problem is more not to have some criteria to choose. If you were doing, okay, the film has been in a festival, +1. The film has been sold to that list of distributors in the US, +1. That film has 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, +1. And then you have criteria that gives you the film that has the most chances. Yeah. But we still want in France to discuss.
We've been admiring France for decades. How do you see Spain in the film industry sense? How do you see us?
No, I think it's very dynamic. I think it's very different from, and because of the regulation, it's quite different from France. I know politically there is not the same support than we have in France, but I think it's something that is coming from far in France, which is cultural and that takes time. So I think the way cinema is looking at its own cinema today is more cultural. So it will come. It just takes time. I think there are ways of, for example, in France, most of the cinema is financed by television to be broadcasted on their channel. In Spain, Telecinco is financing horror films because the way they recoup is if the film works in cinema. Yeah. So it's better in that sense. It's like Korea, they put quota not on TV, but on cinema. And I think there are plenty of things to learn from each other's system. I think, for example, Spain should copy our system of obligation with the platform. Is that suddenly we have platform obliged to invest in French cinema, and it brings like 50, 60 million to the cinema world. I don't understand why the other European countries are not doing the same. So I think there are things to take everywhere, but what I think is that your industry is younger and more dynamic, which I can feel an energy of the people I know in Spain, the people I'm talking to. I can feel something which is somewhere more pure than France, where we have to carry that cultural burden, which is sometimes elitist, sometimes arrogant, sometimes while our job is to help as much as we can new talent to be able to make their films wherever they are coming from.
Okay, I have a couple of questions more for you. I mean, they are very quick. Give us, please, a couple of titles, or maybe 3 titles of films that maybe we are not paying attention to this year, and you know they're good and they are around. Maybe are yours, maybe not.
They will probably be mine.
Any hints?
No, I really liked, and I was surprised. There was a film in Venice Horizonte called Day of the Fight, which was a boxing film. That reminded me New Hollywood, like the film that when they were made, like Raging Bull, or that I really enjoyed, and I didn't understand why it was not why it was not I asked José Luis, I said, have you seen the film? And apparently it was not submitted to them. Okay. So you can still feel that there is a job to be done, which is our job, to bring that kind of jewel to Earth. After there are films, but they are not like hidden gems. A film like Killer of the Flower Moon, for me, that was in Cannes, is a giant masterpiece.
It is.
And I have the feeling that the audience, not the audience, I would say the critics or the industry is no more paying attention to classic films, and they prefer things which are more radical. While here, I think it's a classic. But after, it's very difficult for me not to, to speak about films which are not mine, because if I think they are
that's one of yours,
hidden jewels, I'm trying to take them to,
it's your business.
To do that job.
Yeah. And my last question is, by filming, I told you before, is what film would you say changed your life? I mean, we have a star here, guys. A film that changed your life.
It's very difficult, of course, to say one. And I was talking about Godard before. My favorite film is Pierrot le Fou, but the film that probably changed my vision about what cinema is a Godard movie called Detective, where Johnny Hallyday was the main actor. Johnny Hallyday was a big singer in France, and when I played on a radio game to win tickets for the new Johnny Hallyday film, not for the new Godard film. And I was 16 years old, and I won those tickets. I go to see the movie, and the film disturbed me so deeply that I had the feeling suddenly to see an art that was talking to me that I couldn't explain. And so when I saw the film, I came 4 times in the week to watch it again, to know why it was obsessing me, while I was not obviously understanding the film. And then I found out that there was behind just the storytelling an art, which is cinema, that connects to some people, at least to me, because I've never been an intellectual. I never read so much. I'm not listening to music so much. I'm not going to museums so much. But suddenly there is something that was talking to me very deeply, directly. And I think that's the first film where I connected to the name of a director. I say, okay, who did that film? I want to see more films of that guy.
Nice answer. Nice answer. Thank you very much, Vincent, the man in the shadows in this festival, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you.
Bye.
Seguimos en Kinótico, primera con K y segunda con C. Gracias.